I think it's recording. Hey guys, this is Lynn Quar, your soul number nurse. Uh, yeah, that's a moving box. I moved last week. So I like to talk about numbers and numerology. I can't remember where I left off the last time I talked about numbers, but the Christian folks keep trying to push me. The ones that I know and I work with keep trying to push me away from doing this work. And I believe it's a work because when I talk with people about their name and their birthday, and I do my thing, I help them to understand themselves a lot better, especially from an emotional standpoint, an emotional perspective. Also help them understand those individuals who they come to me to want to know better. So the thing, once again, I try to explain to folks who are Christians that this isn't voodoo, it's not magic, and I'm not psychic. This is a system, just like astrology, just like trigonometry or algebra. In algebra, if you understand the formulas and understand the system, then you can understand how to solve the problem. And it's not that much different with numerology. If you understand the meaning of each of the alphabets and each of the numbers and the combination of numbers and the culmination of numbers, all of which I don't all know. I know a good deal. And just like a doctor or scientist or researcher, I'm always learning. The more I study, the more I learn. I'm always learning something more about the numerology system, which causes me to be fascinated with the system, fascinated. And so it helps me to help people, and that's what it does. So I was working with one of my Christian friends, and I read his number. Like, he has a lot of sevens in his name, and I know that when folks have a lot of sevens in their name, they off the bat I already know they have trust issues. They're either highly religious or very spiritual, or they're very cynical, right? So the friend that I have, he has several sevens in his name. Um, One, I think he has seven in each of his names, first, middle, last name. And he's very, very religious. And he keeps trying to press on me that what I'm doing is not of God and it's not of Jesus. And I used to try to press on him understanding the symbols. I even tried to show him several numerology books where it shows the meaning or the definition of that number seven. And any numerology book would tell you, if you look at the number seven in the description, the words that they use are curious, investigator, research. They use these type of words. You'll also see spirituality, maybe even religion, and as well as trust is also an issue, right? So when I try to get him to see this, he stop, pause, think about it, and look at it, and he says, "Yeah, I am very, very curious." And the thing about a lot of sevens is that most people don't know that they have trust issues unless they live with those folks or work very, very closely with these individuals, because they're very good at hiding the fact that they have trust issues, just in general, right? So they stay to themselves a lot. They stay close to their family, and they have a tendency. It's terrible when they have these hardcore trust issues, because they keep their children isolated. They won't let their children go and play with the neighbor, or won't let their children go out to the park or go to a concert, or just try to live a normal life. That parent with all the sevens in their name will start to turn that child into an individual that has sevens. I can look at that child's name and see that the child has sevens, or born on the 7th, the 16th, or the 25th, and I already know the parent is um, instilling in that child their belief system, which is what most parents do. So if a parent has a certain number, the child is going to have a certain major number, right? If a parent is an 8 life path and they have several kids, one, if not all the kids, will be born maybe on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th. 17, 1 and 7 is 8, 2 and 6 is 8, just to accentuate that 8 energy. And that's how we end up developing, what do they call it? That's how families have these ongoing issues through the family line, this pathology down the family line because of the belief system. If you grew up in a household where your mother or your father was very aggressive, tyrant, mean, harsh, cold, very strict and hard, then it's likely that you will grow up that way, or one of your siblings will grow up that way. And that sibling will have a child, and that sibling will be the same way towards their child as their parent was with them. And so it goes down the line. Somewhere, someone has to stop, this behavior and turn things around. When I started studying this system, I saw it in my own family. I heard horrible stories about my mother's father. He was a tyrant. He was a drunk. He was a angry man. And my mother is that way. My mother is has a narcissistic personality. What do you call it? That narcissistic personality disorder. And I grew up with her gaslighting me like my whole life. And I didn't even know that until very recently, till like 2 or 3 years ago. And now my sister is like my mother. And my sister has put her behavior onto her daughter. And so I am standing like on the sidelines watching very clearly this thing happen with my family. And because I could see it, I was able to stop. I was able to stop myself, but I don't have children, but at least I've stopped. And when I tried to explain this to my sister, it was really difficult for her to see this or to understand because she's one of those people who's a Christian and believe in Jesus, and I'm just going to pray over it. The thing is, you have to do the work yourself. She needs to do the work. She needs to recognize her own behavior and her own temperament, towards her child and find a way to stop it and curb it. But she can't do it because, for one, she won't look at it. She won't pay attention to it. So this is the type of work that I do when I work with people to help them to see, to understand. When folks understand this, those people who want to understand what's going on with themselves or with with their loved ones or with those close to them, when they see the behavior and the trait, when I can see it and help them to understand it, they get it and they're able to work on it and to turn it around or to get the help that they need to turn things around so that this behavior doesn't continue in their family. So, how could something like that be the work of the devil, Christian people? How could helping individuals live a better life and to feel better emotionally about themselves and about those in their lives be the work of something evil or something mean? That just doesn't make any sense. I've it doesn't make any sense. But that's what I wanted to share. This is not any type of evil work. It's not even a psychic. Like people say, I'm psychic. It's not even psychic. I'm not psychic. I could teach anyone this system. I could teach anyone this method. It's not complicated, not at all. We're all here with a purpose. We're all here to live our purpose. Earth is a school. These are things that I've learned studying numerology that I absolutely believe that we can't change anyone but ourselves. If you think you changed someone, think again. You probably bribed them, forced them, made them, threatened them. But trust me, you didn't change them. Because if the name and the birthday didn't change, you didn't change the individual. You're only here to change yourself. And the best way to change another person actually is to change yourself. But in order to change yourself, you have to understand yourself. You really do. And I think one of the best ways to understand yourself, or the quickest way, is either through the numerology system, if you can find a numerologist or the astrology system. I really believe that. All right, I just wanted to put that out there. All right, guys, take care.